Hey, what's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Welcome to the latest and newest edition of the Total Sports Ozone. I am the Big O with the Big Mouth, Oscar, coming at you as I like to do every day at this time. And it is Pick'em Friday. We made it to another week, another weekend of great footballs coming our way. So I will make my picks for all the NFL games coming up for week 4 and select games for week 5 in college football. And there's going to be some good ones. Some damn good games to be coming up in college football. Like I said in yesterday's show, this is the week where the rubber was going to meet the road. We got the number 1 team in the country heading all the way to the Pacific Northwest to play Washington. That is Ohio State, number 1, of course. Ohio State, yeah. We got Oregon traveling all the way east to play Penn State in a whiteout game. And those whiteout games are always fun to watch. Trust me, believe me, I know. Then you got Alabama against Georgia. You got LSU going to Ole Miss. You got Indiana taking on Iowa. You ain't got a lot of good games, but I'm only going to pick 5 or 6 select games and make my picks for this weekend's upcoming games. But I'm going to pick all of the remaining NFL games. So that'll be coming up in a minute. But as I like to say, always, if you got a comment, leave a comment. If you want to like us, please like and subscribe. If you like what you're hearing. If you like what you're hearing, please hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know. Let me know what I can do better. Let me know what I can do worse. Whichever way. Just let me know. And I'm here for you. I'm a sports fan just like you guys. So just let me know what I can do to make this show a little bit better for you. But first, we're going to recap last night's Seahawks Cardinals game. I thought it was going to, like halfway through the third quarter, I thought this was going to be a blowout. I really did. I thought the Seahawks was going to walk all over the Cardinals like they've been known to do for the past 2 or 3 years. But the Cardinals made it a game. Fourth quarter, halfway through, they started playing. Kyler Murray running all over the field. Marvin Harrison finally catching balls. He's had a problem with that this year. But he caught a big touchdown that brought him within 1 score. And then they got the ball back. And then they went downfield again. Kyler Murray. Marvin Harrison make it, and they made some critical third down throws to keep the drive going. And then they scored a touchdown on the run to tie the game at 20. But one bad play on special teams on the kickoff gave Seattle just enough of a chance to get back downfield and win the game, and that's exactly what they did. If you didn't see, if you don't know, if a kickoff lands before the red zone, if it lands between the 20 and the end zone line, the offense gets the ball at the 35-yard line. If the ball goes out of the end zone or is kneeled down for a touchback, ball comes out to the 25-yard line. But if the ball bounces before it gets to the red zone, which is the 20-yard line, and goes in, the offense gets the ball at the 40. And that's exactly what happened last night. The kickoff bounced right at the 21, 22-yard line and then went back into the red zone. So the offense got the ball at the 40-yard line with 28 seconds left and 1 timeout. And that's all they needed. Sam Darnold made a couple of he had one hell of a run and a couple of critical plays. And their kicker nailed a 52-yard field goal. Josh Meyer, I think. He nailed the 52-yard field goal at the gun to give Seattle a big-time divisional road win, 23-20 over the Cardinals. So now the Seahawks are 3-1 with 2 and they've extended the streak against the Cardinals. The Cardinals have not beaten the Seahawks in 3 years, and they got to play again in Seattle. But the Cardinals have not beaten the Seahawks in 3 years. I want to say the Cardinals, I give them all kind of respect and kudos for making it a game late. Because like I said, I thought the way this game was playing out, Cardinals had no chance. It was 20-6 halfway through roughly through the most of the by the end of the third quarter, it's 20-6. I said, well, I was about to turn it. I was like, well, this game's over with. Because I didn't see no fight. Kyler Murray, his line needs to help him. And I'm still asking myself, what is going on with Marvin Harrison? He used to have the surest hands. This first year, he had damn good hands. Now he's dropping critical passes. He had at halftime he only had one catch on 2 targets for 8 yards. It was one catch on 3 targets for 8 yards, and he dropped. One he dropped, the other one got pretty much stolen from him and ran back for an interception. What's going on with Marvin? I call him Marvelous Marvin. What's going on with him? He was never like this at Ohio State. He had the surest hands of pretty much any receiver on the team. But he did atone for a lot of his drops when he got that crucial touchdown in the fourth quarter. And it was a beauty. Right over the head. He jumped up, grabbed it right out of the outreach hands of the receiver. It was a beautiful catch. But he needs to do more than that. If the Cardinals are going to do anything, they need Marvin Harrison to be marvelous Marvin Harrison, not pedestrian Marvin Harrison. They need him to be marvelous, like I called him when he was with Ohio State. I called him marvelous Marvin Harrison. No disrespect to marvelous Marvin Hagler, may he rest in peace. But that's just how I flow with him. Marvelous, because he was marvelous. At Ohio State, he was marvelous. So the Cardinals need him to get back, and for God's sakes, somebody needs to block for the man. Seattle just made life miserable for him. I don't even understand why. I believe in one play they tried a flea flicker. Was a blitz coming? Didn't work. He got sacked for 7-yard loss. Kyler Murray took 6 sacks last night for 36 yards. Yeah, okay. And only 2 for 20 yards, 2 touchdowns. But he was picked off twice and was sacked 6 times. No line. And for most of it, he was running for his life. He led the team in rushing. 41 yards on 5 carries. And when your quarterback is leading your team in rushing, that's a problem. That is a problem. And that needs to be corrected. His line needs to get it together. Give the man some time. I've seen Kyler Murray pick a defense apart if his line gives him time to breathe. But if he don't, you're going to have games like this. And it's the second game the Cardinals have lost late at the last play. Lost on a field goal. Lost last week to the 49ers on a walk-off field goal. Same thing happened last night. Now, Kyler Murray can get some time to throw the damn ball downfield instead of running for his life. Maybe they can pull out some of these close wins. Who knows? When the line finally gave him some time to throw late in the fourth quarter, it came back and tied the game. But they got to do that from the jump, not at the end of the game. From what I'm seeing, they need to do that from jump. At last, Cardinals have fallen to 2-2, 1-1 at home. Seahawks have now won 3 of the first 4 games. Now I know the talk is going to be out there. Are they a threat to the Eagles? Are they a threat? No, I ain't buying that yet. Not buying it yet. You have not. The only one game you won of significance to me was when you went on the road and beat the Steelers. Hard thing to do to come from way out west all the way to Pittsburgh and walk out of there with a win. But they did that. But am I sold on the Seahawks? Nah, not yet. Need to see more of him. Sam Darnold, he's looking good. He's looking okay. But he still tends to make some critical mistakes. And he needs to learn how to get the ball more to Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's their best receiver by far. When DK Metcalf left, Jackson Smith and Jigba became the man and wide receiver. They need to learn to incorporate him more and get him the ball downfield. That's what they did at Ohio State. Why can't you do it here? But best to correct mistakes after win and after loss. So Seattle got the big roll win to go to 3-1. Now, here comes Pick'em Friday. I love Pick'em Friday. Now, last week I made my picks, but I couldn't review my picks because of technical difficulties. I wasn't able to do a show this Monday. I guarantee you, I assure you, that will not be the case next Monday. I will be on here to review my picks. I guarantee that. So I'll make my picks on Friday. And as I said last week, all my picks will be done against the spread. And I use the spread as of this morning from a certain sports book that I will not name on this program at this time. Hopefully, I will be able to name them in the near future. But as of right now, let's just say I use one of the major sports books. And I use the spreads and line and the over-unders as of this morning. So, let's get into it. We're going to start with the NFL. First off, first game, early game in good old Dublin, Ireland, where they get to kiss the Blarney Stone and have a pint. All that good stuff. Early Sunday morning game in Dublin, Ireland. Minnesota Vikings against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are getting 2.5. They're designated the home team for this game. Steelers are getting 2.5 with an over and under of 40.5. I'm still not sold on the Steelers. I don't know what's wrong with their defense. Their defense is not that steel curtain. And by the way, I hate the Steelers. It's a team I hate more than any team in sports. Well, maybe that team up north. But in that's college. In the pro world, I hate the Steelers. I've always hated it. But, like I said, I call it like I see it on this show. I ain't in the business of being objective, except when it comes to Ohio State. But in the pros, I'm not going to be laying on sides or picking favorites or whatever. I pick them the way I see them. I pick it the way I believe the game is going to go. And from what I've seen of the Steelers, their defense is, at best, I'll say it again, wishy-washy. Let's just face it. Let's call it like it's us. The defense is wishy-washy. Hell, they almost spit the bit against New England in New England. They almost spit the bit because their defense let up. Offensively, what in the hell are they going to do to get DK Metcalf more catches, more targets? I mean, you paid for them. You might as well use them. You got Aaron Rodgers. He's got targets. Put him to use. Minnesota, on the other hand, Carson Wentz. Oh, they had a field day against Cincinnati. But it was more defense than offense. I mean, offense, they could have did whatever they wanted, but the defense was what pretty much blew that game wide open last week against Cincinnati. I mean, what they scored, like 3 defensive touchdowns in that game? Do I expect them to do that over in good old Dublin, Ireland? No. I suspect they'll get 1 defensive score, which is why, and I believe that score is going to make the difference on who wins this game. That's why I'm picking the Vikings, and I'll lay the 2.5. With an over and under of 40.5, I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under. think this game is going to be somewhere in like the 20-10 range or 2017 range, something like that. I don't see either one of these teams lighting the scoreboard up over there in Ireland. But should be a good game. It should be a good game as far as you would think it'd be a good game as far as on the defensive side of the ball. But like I said, the Steelers are having problems on defense, and they need to get that right and soon. So they're playing in Dublin, Ireland. That will be a 9:30 Eastern kick. Early morning. Wake up in the morning, have a cup of coffee, get your little breakfast, watch some early morning football. Next, this is going. I believe this is one of the marquee matchups of the weekend for week 5, for week 4. We got two undefeated teams going at it. Philadelphia Eagles, the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions, against the 3-0, and I can't believe I'm saying this, 3-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Bucks, 3-0. And like I said, they've been winning close games. Their total margin of victory, 3-0. And their total margin of victory for all 3 games has been, they've won by a grand total of 6 points. They won by 3 against Atlanta for week 1. They won by 1 point in week 2 at Houston. And they won by 2 points on a walk-off field goal last week at home against the Jets. So they won all 3 of their games by a grand total of 6 points. Do I think this game is going to be that close? Yes, indeed. I do believe this game will be that close. Again, let's face it. We all had our doubts about Baker Mayfield. I know I did. I had my doubts about him when he was with Cleveland. And then he got bounced around to Carolina and then to L.A., to the Rams. I think he's finally found a home in Tampa Bay. That and the fact I think he grew up. When you get punched in the mouth enough, you're going to have to do one or two things. Get the hell out of the game or grow up. And I think he's grown up. He's become a leader on that team. If you would have thought that was possible, but it is. It's what's happening. He's become a leader. He is the reason why they won those games. Not the defense. Baker Mayfield. The game against Houston. He didn't sweat it. When Houston scored that late touchdown with about a minute left, he went right downfield. Said, get on my back. We're going to do this. Walked him right downfield with a game-winning touchdown with a few seconds left. And they brought a couple of penalties off to do that. That's leadership. So Baker Mayfield has become a leader on this squad. That's why I believe Tampa Bay is going to win this game. If this is a prove-it game for Tampa Bay. If they can prove that they've taken that next step, the 3-0, yeah, but a lot of people saying, you ain't really played nobody. And, you're not having played nobody. Your teams you play have a grand total of 2 wins. Right? He's right. He's right. Actually, yeah, grand total of 1 win. That's Atlanta. So you haven't really played nobody. Let me see what you do when you play a top team. Well, here's the opportunity. They're playing the top. They're playing the beast. Number 1. And you know the saying, to be the best, you got to beat the best. This is a prove-it game for Tampa Bay. Can they beat the best? Can they go toe-to-toe with the best? We're going to find out. I'm taking Tampa Bay, though. I'm taking Tampa Bay. I'll take those 3 points, 3.5 points. Thank you very much. I'll take them. We have an over-under in this game of 44.5. Oh, boy. I'm going to go slightly over on that one. I think it'll somewhere be in the high 20s, maybe even low 30s type of game. But I still take that ability to win outright, and I'll take those 3.5 points. Thank you very much. That game is slated for a 1 o'clock kickoff Eastern. Next, oh my goodness, I don't even know. You know what? There's some games on here on these schedules, especially in the NFL. There's like not too many, but there's a couple. I'm like, why did they even throw this up for betting? Really? And this is one of them. New Orleans going to Buffalo. Really? Now I said I would pick every game in the NFL schedule, every last one of them. But I looked at this one. I'm like, are you serious? Are you really serious? Do I have to pick this one? I mean, damn. You know what the line is on this one as of this morning? The line is, why are you even bothered betting on the New Orleans Saints? Yeah, that's how bad it is. 15 and a half. That's the line. 15 and a half. And I know y'all know who's getting the 15 and a half. And you know what? I don't need to speak this into fruition. Buffalo is gonna kill them boys. It's in Buffalo, Orchard Park, outdoors. Saints ain't that good a team outdoors. Let's face it. I don't care what the weather is. But we getting in the fall weather. So I know it ain't gonna be balmy and 88 degrees out there in Orchard Park. I know it probably ain't gonna be snowing either. But the Saints ain't that great a team outdoors, especially this bunch. I suspect the Bills. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills shut them out. Wouldn't be surprised in the least. I don't think it'll happen. I think New Orleans will score at least one touchdown, possibly two. But ain't no way in hell they gonna beat these Buffalo Bills in Orchard Park. They're just not on that level. Everybody knows it. I'll take the Bills and I'll lay those 15 and a half points. They can have them. They can eat those points. They can eat them for breakfast, lunch, dinner. They can have them. Ain't gonna be. I suspect the Bills will beat them by at least 20, about 3 scores. I suspect that. The Bills are just in a way higher level than the New Orleans Saints is, and everybody knows that. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. New Orleans is not on the level of Buffalo. But like I said, I pick every game. So I'm picking this one. Buffalo, later 15 and a half. And I'll take the over on this one. Tampa, I think New Orleans will score a couple of touchdowns. But I'm thinking the Bills will probably drop 40 minimum. Unless somebody gets hurt. That's just how much I think New Orleans ain't got a chance. So, next, we got the Cleveland Browns at Detroit. Oof. Now, there's been some jibber jabber over this week about the Lions saying that the Browns haven't seen this type of running game that the Detroit Lions is going to lay on them. But remember, Detroit, you're on a short week. Now, I have no doubt that Detroit will win the game because the Browns just don't have enough offense to stick with the Lions. I know that. But the Lions are playing against statistically the best defense in all of the league. The Browns do have a Super Bowl caliber defense with Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Newsome, and these rookies. The rookie linebacker was his name, Addison or something like that. Yeah, these boys can play on defense. They ain't no joke. The only thing they don't do too much well on defense is takeaways. But sacks, Can you run hard? Can you run against this team? Not that good. Hell, the hell, Derrick Henry is less than 50 yards. So there you go. I know this is the Detroit Lions, and Detroit has weapons galore all over that offense. But do I think Detroit's going to load like 50-something points like they did against Chicago in their last home game? Hell no. 30? is a more realistic goal, more realistic number, about 28 to 30. And the problem is the Browns have no offense. Oh, they might have a running back in Keyshawn Judkins. I mean, he did run for 94 yards last week and a touchdown. So they might have a running back. They ain't got much else. They don't have much else. That is why, and that is only reason why I'm picking the Detroit Lions. However, with the line being 9.5, I'm picking the Browns to cover. They won't win, but I think they'll lose by closer than 9.5 points. I got the Lions winning the game, but I got the Browns covering. They'll cover that 9.5. Over under in this game is 44.5. I'm going under. Simply because the Browns have no offense. They have no O. They got all the D, no O. So I got to go under on the over-under in this game. That game is scheduled for a 1 o'clock kick also. Again, I got the Lions winning, but I got the Browns covering. I think they'll cover this game. They'll cover that 9.5. Next, the LA Chargers. Justin Herbert. Herbert. What was I saying their name? Herbert. Going east to take on New York Giants. This will be Jackson Dart's first full NFL start. The Giants are getting 6.5 in this game with an over-under of 43.5. We don't know what we're getting out of Jackson Dart. I don't care what the pundits say, what the critics say. Oh, he looked good in preseason. That's preseason, son. This is regular season. Obviously, he must look good enough, or Russell Wilson has looked bad enough, other than that one little game, that game he had against Dallas. He's looked bad enough for Brian Daboll to say, you know what? What the hell? Let's just start the rookie and let's see what happens. This is his first start going against a hot Chargers team. 3-0, Justin Herbert. I believe Justin Herbert should get some MVP talk. If they keep doing what they're doing, Justin Herbert should be in the conversation for league MVP. But we're a little early about that. However, I see the Chargers winning this game. We just don't know what we're going to get out of Jackson Dart. Or maybe the coaching staff on the Giants team know, but we don't. So I cannot rightfully in good conscience pick the Giants to beat a 3-0 team, even though they're coming from way out west. I cannot in good conscience pick the Giants. They looked awful. Except for that one game against Dallas, they looked awful. Let's just call it what it is. They looked awful. And we just don't know what we're going to get out of Jackson Dart. Do you? I don't know. I'm picking the Chargers, and I'll give them the 6.5. Over under 43.5. I'm going to take the under on this one. We got to see what Jackson Dart's all about. Yes, he was damn good in Ole Miss, but this is the NFL. He's a rookie. And don't you think the Chargers ain't going to go after him with this being his first NFL start? I got to go with the Chargers, and I'll give those 6.5. If Jackson Dart looks to be like a formidable quarterback, maybe I change my mind about the Giants. But we'll see. And I applaud Brian Daboll for making that quarterback change. Something had to be done. I mean, Russell Wilson is not that Russell Wilson anymore. We all see it. We all know it. Yeah, he had a hell of a game against Dallas, but then again, like I've been saying all week, a good college quarterback could have a good game against Dallas Cowboys defense. This is what it is. But against all these other teams, he's not that Russell Wilson anymore. And it's a shame because he was a bad boy back in Seattle. Now he's just bad. Ugh. So I would have sat the bench too. What you got to lose? I'm still picking the Chargers. Next, we got the Washington Commanders heading to the Dirty South, taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, by the way, the Giants Chargers game is a 1 o'clock kick. So, Commanders going down to the Dirty to play the Atlanta Falcons. We got the Falcons favorite. I don't know how, but they're favorite. Maybe because they're at home. They're favored by 1.5 with an over-under of 44.5. The Falcons looked horrible last week on both sides of the ball. There's no denying it. They looked horrible. And that was against Bryce Young and the Panthers, who ain't exactly world beaters. I don't care if it was on the road. They looked horrible. They looked horrible. And I hate to say that because I like the Falcons. But they don't enthuse a lot of confidence in me. They never do. I know their models rise up. They got a hell of a lot of rising to do. Because right now, they're down. They down and flat like day old beer. But they got to do some raising up. That's what their model is. They need to start now. But I don't see it. I don't see it. It's not like Atlanta don't have weapons. Bijan Robinson, Drake. Whenever Kyle Pitts gets healthy, they got weapons. And they do. But it's like one game they're up, the next game they're down. I don't know which Falcons team I'm going to see this week. Or am I going to see the one that beat up Minnesota in Minnesota? Or I'm going to see the dud that played in Carolina? I don't know. And until I'm more confident in which team is going to show up on a weekly basis, I can't, in good conscience again, pick them to win this game. Give me the Commanders, and I'll take the points. 1.5? Oh, yeah. I'll take that. Thank you very much. 44.5, over, under, I'm going to go under. I just don't see Atlanta scoring too many points. I hope I'm wrong. But for this particular game, until they instill a little bit more confidence in me, I'm going with the Commanders. And I'll take the 1.5. That game is scheduled for a 1 o'clock kick. Next on the agenda, we got Carolina going up to the Northeast to play the New England Patriots. Patriots are favored by 5.5. I'm looking at this right. With a 43.5 over under. 5.5 is a big number for a team that's 1-2. And the one team you beat, you beat Miami. 1.5 is a pretty big number. I mean, 5. What is it? What was the number? 5.5. 5.5 is a pretty big number. It is. That's a pretty big number for a team that's 1-2. I would have said this should have been even. They both 1-2. They both have their problems on defense. They both wishy-washy on offense. I wouldn't have been surprised if the line on this was even. Because they're both the same. You just don't know what to expect from them. I'm going to lean with the Patriots simply because they're at home. I'm going to lean Patriots way simply because they're at home. So I'll give those 5.5. New England will win by at least a touchdown. The over-under is 43.5. I'm going to go over it. Neither one of their defenses is woo. So I think it's going to be a shootout with New England winning the shoot. Having one more bullet in their gun than the Carolina Panthers. I'll take the Patriots on this one. This game is scheduled for 1 o'clock kick as well. Now we're getting into the later games. Later window, we got 4 o'clock kick. LA Rams at home will face the Indianapolis Colts. Now, this is going to be an intriguing matchup because we got a 3-0 Colts team who's looked really good, being 3-0, against the Rams team that just came off a really bitter loss in Philadelphia. Even though Indianapolis is undefeated, they're not favored in this game. Rams are a 3.5-point favorite with an over-under 49.5. This is the game that will tell everybody and go a long way into determining if the Indianapolis Colts are for real. Is Daniel Jones legit? Is this reclamation project Daniel Jones is on about to take a next step? You're playing in LA. Matthew Stafford, all the other guys. Can you beat these guys in Los Angeles? Now, if they do that, you have got to bump the Colts up in the power rankings to at least top 10, possibly top 5. If they can go out west and pick off the Rams in their house, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be looking at the Colts a little bit more seriously. Right now, they're saying, they ain't playing nobody. Play tight. Play damn. They ain't played a sorry Dolphins team. They ain't playing nobody of significance, and they will be right. They haven't. This is one of those prove it games. Can they prove it? We're going to find out. Oddsmaker says, no, they ain't. And I'm going with the oddsmakers. I got the Rams, and I'll lay those points. I got the Rams, I'll lay the 3.5, and I'll go under on the 49.5 over-under. That's my pick. That's a 4 o'clock kick. Now, good boy. Now, we got another big-time marquee matchup. Big time. You got the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, heading out to the Arrowhead. You played Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Would you ever thought that these two teams, the way as much success as they've had over the past 2 or 3 years, did you ever think that these two teams would meet up this season with both 1-2 records? 1-2, both of them. So to say this is a must win for both teams is the understatement of the weekend. Both these two teams need a win, and Lamar Jackson and the Ravens need to finally prove that they can beat Patrick Mahomes. They come close. Oh yeah, they come close. Both in the regular season and the playoffs over the past 4 years. They've come awfully close, but they just couldn't finish the job. Hell, one game they lost to the Chiefs in Arrowhead is because the receiver's right foot was an inch too long. Y'all remember that play? Caught it. Lamar threw it to him in the back of the end zone. He caught it, but I don't know if it was his big toe or the next toe was just over the out of bounds line. If his foot was half an inch, half a size, like if he was wearing 11s, if they were 10s, they would have won that game. That's how close they come to beating the Chiefs, but they haven't been able to do it. Will they be able to do it this weekend? I just don't know. They haven't proved to me that they can. Both in their house and in Arrowhead. They have not proven to me that they can finish the deal. And that's what they need to do. If they want me or they want anybody to consider them legitimate Super Bowl contenders, these are teams you got to learn how to beat. You have to beat. The Ravens can beat all the other chumps. They can beat all the other chumps. But the top tier teams they've had problems with. Lamar Jackson's been MVP twice. Still ain't made it to the Super Bowl. Why? Because he has problems beating top tier teams. The Bills and the Chiefs. That's who they are in the AFC. That's the teams that they've had problems beating. Both in the regular season and playoffs. The Bills and the Chiefs. And until they prove to me that they can beat the Bills and the Chiefs. They've already choked the game against the Bills this year. Can you beat the Chiefs? And this is a prime opportunity to beat them. With Mahomes out, maybe he might get Xavier Worthy back. I'm still looking up on that. He might get Worthy back, but his other wide receiver is still serving as a suspension. So this is a golden opportunity for them to go out there and put one on the Chiefs. Can they do it? I don't think so. I don't think so. Like I said, you got to prove it to me before I go with it. I got the Chiefs winning this game, and I am taking those points. Ravens are favored by 2.5. I'll take the points. I'm going to say Chiefs win this game outright. Over under is 48.5. I'm going to go under on this. I don't think there's going to be a whole abundant amount of scoring, even though the Ravens do have the offense that could put points on the board in bunches. I don't think they're going to do it in Arrowhead. They've always had problems scoring points in bunches in Arrowhead. I'll take the under, but I'm picking the Chiefs, and I'll take those 2.5 points. Next game, Chicago Bears, the monsters of the Midway. Yeah, right. They're on the road to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are favored by 1.5 with an over and under of 47.5. Now, most people think Caleb Johnson, after what he did to the Cowboys, oh, he's coming out. No, he ain't. No, he ain't. Like I said, a good college quarterback could throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Cowboys' putrid defense. The Raiders' defense ain't putrid. They got some playmakers on that defense. Only thing I think will help the Bears in this game is usually Raiders home games have half Raiders fans, half of the other teams. So I'm pretty sure there'll be a good conglomerate of Bears fans who are going to be out in this game. That's what I think will help them. Other than that, they ain't got a chance. I don't believe in them. Oh, you had one good game against Dallas. So everybody's had good games against Dallas so far this year because of that defense. I don't think you're going to be dropping 300 yards and 3 touchdowns on flea flickers against the Raiders. Pete Carroll ain't having that. I got the dang Raiders winning this game, and I will lay those points. I'll give them the points. They can have 1.5. I think the Raiders will win by at least a field goal. I'm going under on the over-under. Neither one of these teams can wow each other. Geno Smith, he's good. He's good at throwing it, but he's tend to throwing it too much to the other team. So I don't think there's going to be a big fireworks explosion as far as points are concerned in this game. I'm still taking the Raiders. I will take the Raiders in that one. Now, the big game. The one everybody talking about around here. I'm in Dallas-Fort Worth, so yeah. Green Bay coming down here. Green Bay with Micah Parsons. Yeah, that's right, Micah Parsons. Coming down here, coming back home. Take on those Cowboys. This ought to be a good one. And I mean, this ought to be a real good game. Green Bay is favored by 6.5. And rightfully so. But there's so many storylines into this game, it's not even funny. We can spend an hour on just the storylines. But we ain't got time for all that. Let's just say this. I would not be surprised if Micah Parsons sacks Dak Prescott 3 times, at least. Micah Parsons. I ain't saying nothing about any other players on the defense. I'm just saying Micah Parsons. I would not be surprised, shocked, or even a little bit startled if he sacks Dak Prescott at least 3 times in this game. As far as Green Bay, offensively, they're not playing the Browns defense, number one defense in the league, number two. You playing the worst defense in the league. You should have fun. This should be like a get right game after spitting and bidding against the Browns. This should be a get right game for the Green Bay Packers. And now with CeeDee Lamb out for this game, Dak Prescott only got one good target downfield, and that's George Pickens. Don't think that Green Bay ain't gonna start or be double teaming him pretty much all the game. I don't know. I don't know if Dak will have enough offensive firepower to hang with the Green Bay Packers, because I believe the Green Bay Packers going to drop at least 35 points in this game. At least. Unless by some miracle and divine intervention and oh my goodness, the Cowboys learn how to play defense this week in practice. I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt it, and so do the sports odds. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers, and I'll give the Cowboys those 6.5. Why not? They're going to need them. They got an over-under of 48.5. I'm going to go over, simply because I think Green Bay is going to drop at least 30, possibly 40. So I'll take the over on this game. Cowboys defense is what it is. Film don't lie. Video don't lie. The defense is what it is. Jerry Jones can say whatever the hell he wants. But if he got good eyesight, I don't know, being 80-something years old, maybe his eyesight's wandering on him. But everybody sees what their defense is. And right now, it's a dumpster fire. I'll take Green Bay and I'll lay those points. That is a 4 o'clock. Oh, no, actually, that's the prime time game Sunday night, 7:20, 8:20 Eastern. That's going to be a good one. As far as the storyline, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a dang good game. Now, got a couple of Monday Nighters. New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins. Don't expect too many points to be scored in this one. However, Miami is dumpster fire on offense. They are. They are dumpster fire on offense. Give me the Jets, and I'll take the 2.5. Over under 44.5, I'm going to go under. Now, the Jets can put up a few points, but I ain't seeing them putting up 40 or something. And the Dolphins, like I said, they're dumpster fire on offense. Unless Tua Tagovailoa can get his head out of his ass, I don't see them overtaking the Jets. I got the Jets getting a big-time divisional road win. So give me the Jets, and I'll take that 2.5. That game is scheduled for a 7:16 kick on Monday night. And the next other Monday night game is the Bengals going to Mile High to take on the Denver Broncos. I'm a little mixed about this one. I think the spread is way too high. Yeah, Jake Browning is the quarterback. Joe Burrow's hurt, but it's not like he doesn't have weapons. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, he got weapons. So it's not like I don't think Denver is going to run away and hide with this one. However, for this one, I'm going to pick Denver to win, but I think it'll be a very close game. So I'm picking Cincinnati to cover that 7.5 point spread. Denver wins it, Cincinnati covers. Now, over under 43.5, we're going to go under on that one. Ain't gonna be a memorable offensive showcase. But, like I said, Denver to win the game, Cincinnati will cover. That game is 8:16 kick. And we got one more if anybody cares. 49ers and Jaguars at San Jose. Got the 49ers favored by 3. They'll win by 10. Jacksonville's not that good. Over under is 46.5. I'm going to pick the under. Both teams are a little banged up. So I'll pick the under. But I got the 49ers winning it by at least 6. So, those are my picks for week 4 in the National Football League. What do you think? Think I made a weird pick I shouldn't have made? Do you think one of my picks could get upset? How about the Browns? Do you think they can upset the Lions? What about Tampa Bay? Will they finally beat a top team? What about the Giants? Can they get the upset against the Chargers? What do you think? Leave me a comment. All right? Now, we're going to go to college football. Like I said, I always pick against the spread, but I don't pick every college football game. I only pick 5 or 6 select games that I think are the biggest matchups for college football for this weekend. We're going into week 5. And pretty much all my picks will be games that involve the current top teams in the current AP Top 25. All right? Let's start it. We got some goodness. Oh, we got some good. We got some Big E's. The Big E, I think this weekend, Oregon going all the way to Penn State. Whiteout game. That's going to be a good one. That's definitely going to be a good one. Prime time, whiteout. Ooh, Beaver Stadium, whiteout, prime time. That's the atmosphere that you want to play in. Whiteout, prime time, in Beaver Stadium. Now, Penn State is favored, if you would believe, by 3.5. With an over-under in this game of 53.5. You're talking about two teams that are lighting up the scoreboard. That's no doubt. But the question remains, who in the hell have you played? Who in the hell have you played? Penn State has played no one of significance. Oregon played one team one team from the Power 4. And that was in Oklahoma State. And they trashed them. But Oklahoma State is not that good. They haven't been good for a couple of years. So, in essence, who have you played? Well, that question is going to get answered this weekend because now these two teams got to play each other. Somebody got to win. They both got great offenses. Their defenses could be better. Yeah, Oregon has been shutting teams down. Like I said, you ain't played nobody. Penn State has been known to let teams hang around. They've struggled like first half of some games against a couple of cupcakes this year. But then they turn on the Jets and leave them in the dust. They can't do that. They can't afford to do that this weekend. You can't just struggle at the beginning of the game and then turn it on. Like Oregon will leave you in the dust. But I believe since it's a whiteout and the atmosphere is going to be loud, it's going to be crazy, prime time, I got Penn State winning this one. I'll take those. I'll give the 3.5. I give it. But I got Penn State winning this one. Simply because of where it's played. That atmosphere is hard to win. It's hard to win when there's a whiteout and Beaver Stadium, especially at night. Them fans go nuts. They really get into it. So I don't know how Oregon is going to be able to handle that. I don't know. We'll find out. But I'm gonna take Penn State in the 3, and I'm gonna lay that 3.5. I'm gonna go under on the over/under 53.5. I'm gonna go under. I don't think it's gonna be a shootout. I don't think neither team is gonna let it be a shootout. It could be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if the winning team wins by just a score, by one score or less. But it's not going to be a shootout. I don't predict that. I predict it's going to be a hard-nosed, grind-out game, especially probably in the middle part of the game. It's going to be a hard-nosed, grind-out game, and whoever got the most chutzpah, I'm going to say it like that, chutzpah, is going to win the game. But simply because of the atmosphere, I'll go Penn State. That game kicks off 7:30 Eastern. Next, we got a couple more goodies. We got Alabama and Georgia. Alabama ranked 17th in the current AP poll. Georgia ranked 5th. Got Georgia holding the odds at 2.5 favorite with an over under of 52.5. Now, the Bears need this game more than Kirby Smart needs it. But as we all know, Kirby Smart, Alabama is Kirby Smart's kryptonite. Or is it Nick Saban was Kirby Smart's kryptonite? When they finally learned how to beat or take care of that kryptonite, Georgia won back-to-back national champions. And right now, they're the beast of the SEC. For Alabama to get back to that perch where we're at all these years under Nick Saban, they need to get this game. It's in Sanford. It's in Athens, Georgia. It's in Sanford Stadium. The atmosphere is going to be electric. We all know that. It's a primetime game. ABC's carrying it. Primetime game. Atmosphere is going to be electric. But can the Bears go down there and pull off a victory? If they do, they're right back in the college football playoff mix. Right back in it. Just like that. Even with a one early loss, they're right back in it. You will have to start taking them a little bit more seriously if they can pull this game off. Can they? I don't think so. I really don't think so. They came back and beat a couple of bums, but it's Georgia. And even though Stockton in the offense, it can be better, but they've had time. They had a week off to get it right. I just don't see Alabama going into Sanford Stadium and pulling off a victory. I might be wrong, but my gut tells me Georgia's going to handle business. So I'm going to take the Georgia Bulldogs, and I'll lay the 2.5. Now, the over-under, I think, is going to be under. I think there's going to be a minimum of turnovers both ways. I think Alabama going to turn the ball over twice. I think Georgia's going to turn the ball over twice. I honestly do. This game might come down to a field goal. And y'all saw what Georgia did to Tennessee when they were down big and how they fought and scraped and clawed their way back and stole that game at the end in overtime. So it's not like Alabama's going to scare Georgia. Oh, no. You're going to do that? That's why I'm picking Georgia. They know how to come back against hostile teams. They know how to do that. Give me Georgia in 2.5. I'm going under and over and under. That game is 7:30 prime time game. And it should be prime time. That's one of the biggies of this weekend. Now, we got Indiana. And after the beatdown they laid on Illinois, they're going to take their traveling offensive show on the road to Kinnick Stadium in Iowa to play the Hawkeyes. Indiana favored by 7.5 with an over-under of 48.5. Iowa has struggled on offense the last couple of years. They struggled to score. They've always had a decent defense. Kirk Ferentz always puts a decent defense on the field with the Iowa Hawkeyes. But will it be enough to slow down it? You saw what they did to Illinois. Top 10 team. They made them look like they didn't even belong on the field. It was that bad. 63 points. Come on now. Against a top 10 team, that's the most points scored against a top 10 team in Big Ten history. But are they going to duplicate that in Iowa? They ain't scoring 63 points. I'll say cut that in half. about 31. But it'll be enough for the win. But I'm gonna take Iowa. I think they might put up a offense. They slowly getting it, but they're at home. And I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to say Iowa's going to upset them. I don't think it should be called an upset, but since Iowa isn't ranked and Indiana is just outside the top 10, it'll be a mild upset. I'll take Iowa and give me the points. Over under is 48.5. I'm going to go under. Iowa is not the world beater on offense. Everybody knows that. So I'm going to go under. I'm taking Iowa at home to upset the Indiana Hoosiers. Next, my team, Ohio State, number 1, defending national champions, and all that other stuff. But they're going out west to play a team that should be ranked and could be underrated. But then again, they haven't really played anybody. I'm talking about the Washington Huskies. You got to watch out for their quarterback. Williams, he can sling it and he can run. I mean, in a couple of games, he was the fastest guy on the field, the quarterback. I mean, he's running through holes and he's leaving people in the smoke. How is Ohio State going to contain him? What is Matt Patricia, Ohio State's defensive coordinator, going to dial up for a game plan to contain Washington's quarterback, DeMond Williams? Because that's the whole key to the game. If they can contain him, Ohio State will win this game easily. That's just how I feel. Washington's defense, I know it'll be loud and Husky Stadium, a lot of, but Washington defense ain't got nothing, ain't can't bring the smoke to Ohio State. Even though this is Julian Sands, this will be Julian Sands' first start on the road, but he's already played in a big game and he won that game, and he didn't make no mistakes playing in that game. So I'm not worried about him making too many mistakes. I said this the other day. For Ohio State to win this game, show up, play their game on both sides of the ball, take care of the ball, and then you hop on the plane and go back home. And I truly believe that. I don't think Ohio State is going to blow Washington away, but I still believe they'll win the game. I do believe they'll win the game. Now the line is 8.5. This is where I conflict. I believe Ohio State will win. However, Washington will cover. 8.5 is a little bit too much of a spread for a team traveling 2,500 miles west. And the last time Ohio State traveled that far west, they came home with a 1-point loss. That was last year to Oregon. I don't believe they're going to lose this game. However, I don't think they're going to win by more than 8.5 points. So I'll take Ohio State to win the game, but I'm going to take Washington to cover. Again, I think this game is going to come down to less than a touchdown. Touchdown or less. Over under is 52.5. I'm going to go over. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a shootout. Even though Ohio State does have a pretty good defense, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a shootout. So, that's my pick for this game. Ohio State to win, Washington to cover. That game is at 3:30 Eastern. So 12:30 Pacific time. So let's take a day for Ohio State to get their bodies acclimated to the time change. They should be all right, though. That shouldn't be a bother to them. Finally, we're going to pick one more for college football for this weekend. And that's going to be number 4, LSU, going on the road to face number 13, Ole Miss, in Oxford, Mississippi. Line on this game is 1.5 for Ole Miss. Do you believe that? LSU, 4th-ranked team in the country, coming in as a road dog, underdog, at Ole Miss. Why? Are they not sold on LSU's defense? Are they not sold on Russ Meyer? Are they not sold that they think the win against Florida and Clemson are just poo-poo because both teams suck? Maybe they're right. I think they're right. I'm picking Ole Miss because they're at home. And I know that atmosphere is going to be electric. Anytime a top 5 team comes into Oxford, that place gets electric. And it does. And every now and then, that electricity that flows throughout that stadium leads to the home team picking off whoever it is they're playing. I've seen them do it numerous times. I believe they'll do it again. I think this will be Lane Kiffin's signature win as the head coach of Ole Miss, if they can pull this off. And I believe they can. I'm going to take Ole Miss, and I give up that 1.5 points. They can have it. I believe Ole Miss will win this game by at least a touchdown. Over under in this game, we got at a 56.5. I'm going under. I don't believe they're going to score that many. Neither team was going to light up the offense that bad. But I'm going to take Ole Miss to win the game outright. So, those are my picks. My picks in the NFL, my picks for the select college football games. What do you think? You think I'm talking crazy? Like, what is he looking at? I'm just picking them the way I'm seeing them. But what do you think? I really want to know. So drop me a line. Hit me up. Hit me up with a comment. I'll read them and I'll get back to you. Let me know what you think. Am my picks crazy? Do you see an upset in here in any one of my picks? Is anybody? Am I wrong with an over under? Do you think that one team I said will cover isn't? They're gonna get blown out, or they're gonna win outright? Let me know. I can't wait to see your comments. I would love to. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll always admit to that. But let me know what you think. Oh yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I will really appreciate that. Well, it's time for me to get out of here for this week. It has been an honor to talk to you, to let you know what I think about what's going on in the world of sports. Oh, don't forget the MLB. This is the last weekend of MLB, the regular season. And there's still some couple of hot pennant races on the line. About them, because we will. I'll follow that all up on Monday. Along with, I'll give you reviews of the game and how I did on my picks. And I hope I did do good on my picks, both NFL and college. We'll find out on Monday. In the meantime, have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the games, and I'll check you back here on Monday. See ya.